Now, tomorrow marks 100 days of the Labour government, but as our exclusive poll shows, the Prime Minister's popularity has plummeted.
Yes, his government's first months in office have been marred by rows over freebies and the winter fuel allowance, as well as the sacking of Downing Street Chief of Staff Sue Gray. Well, we're joined by Minister for Intergovernmental Relations, Pat McFadden. Good to speak to you this morning. I remember talking the day after the election when you were all smiles. That smile, there we go. I don't know how many you feel now, 100 days in, because we're in a situation where the Prime Minister has gone from most popular leader to least popular. Stephen Fry's called it a disaster. What do you call it?
Well, I'm still smiling because I think we've got a good future ahead of us. I'm here in Edinburgh for a really important meeting. We call it the Council of Nations and Regions, going to bring together the First Ministers of Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, together with the Prime Minister, with our elected mayors from throughout England. And we kick off the day announcing £24 billion worth of new investment in energy in the UK. It'll give us cleaner power, it'll create wealth, it'll create good jobs all around the country. That's what we're doing today. And it comes before a major international investment summit on Monday, where we'll be hosting global investors from around the world and announcing even more votes of confidence in the UK economy under this new Labour government.
Well, you got that out. It sounds fascinating. We can drill into the detail, but I suspect that most others won't be, because the new special envoy to what you're celebrating, Sue Gray, isn't going to be there. And all those other factors are what people are talking about. Winter fuel payments have dominated since they were first raised. And the freebies are now more than 67% of people say that they're unhappy about it, up to 74% of those aged over 65. So we're talking about people very unhappy in our survey and a lack of trust and concern in that first 100 days.
Look, in the first 100 days, we had to take some decisions we would rather not have taken. I wish we'd taken office at a time when the public finances were under control, but we didn't. And you can't legislate for the circumstances in which you take office.
But that's nothing to do with the things that most is concerning people, even more than the winter fuel payments, the freebies and all of those things, the loans, all of that. That has come anyway. That's not a part of the budget, is it? That's not a part of the deficit. That has been, I think the most generous would say, the very least badly handled.
Look, of course, there's been a few headlines I would rather not have had in the past few weeks. And that is in some ways part of the terms and conditions of being in government. You're going to come under scrutiny and you're going to come under criticism.
I'm going to let Rob spot you as well, because I don't want to interrupt you, but it's not a few headlines, is it? It's every single day. And it's not about the decisions, it's about the behaviour, actually, or the perceived behaviour of the government.
Look, I think we've got people dedicated to public service. The cabinet ministers I work with come to work, their sleeves rolled up. They want to improve the health service, they want to improve the education system, they want to get the houses built. And in our first 100 days, we passed legislation on these things. New Renters' Right Bill this week. We got a new package of workers' rights yesterday, which is going to improve rights for millions of people at work. So the government is doing some good things. We have to get past these headlines that you're talking about. We've got the investments that we're announcing today on education, and you keep going because we're here to serve the public, and that's what we're doing. So as we mark this 100 days, I think there's quite a lot in the tank already. And there'll be a lot more to come. We're still a new government. We've only been in office for 3 months. We've got 5 years to go.
It's about promises that have been broken. It's about the fact that you ran on the idea of being kind of the grown-ups in the room. You wrote yourself on Labour Net, Keir Starmer knows that simply saying, trust me, won't work. You know, we've had gifts talking about rolling up sleeves. Some of those sleeves have been purchased by millionaire donors. Removing of fuel relief from pensioners. And then firing Sue Gray, who apparently, it's reported, 170,000 is not enough, and she's not at the regional summit that you're at today. This isn't just amateur. More than that, this is about not trusting Keir Starmer, which is why he finds himself 100 days in, less popular than any of the other leaders. You can't be proud of that 100 days.
Well, I think we've done a lot of good things in the first 100 days. With regard to the polls, they're always there. I'll be probably focused on them more 3 months before the next election than 3 months after the last one. For the coming years, we have a good, stable majority. That's why investors have announced £24 billion extra investment. The chief executive of the owner of Scottish Power says this is a vote of confidence in the UK economy and regulation and the way that we're running things. And that's the message that we're sending out. It's a good place to invest and to grow a business in, precisely because we've got a great workforce here, we've got a stable government for the next few years. Other countries don't have that. They've got far more political turmoil. So I think we've made a good start. There's been a few headlines I haven't liked, but there is more good investment to come. And that's what we're focused on here today in beautiful Edinburgh.
McFadden, you are in beautiful Edinburgh, but there's kind of policy behind those headlines, right? They're not empty. Millions of the poorest and most challenged are affected by the cuts that Rachel Reid has passed and your government have supported. And on top of that, it's about how you organise and, above all else, how the government is perceived and who is being listened to. Amongst other things, there you are at a national and regional summit. You've got 12 of the representatives of local government from around England. But who have you got there who's representing the interests of Scottish cities, their counterparts? Who from Glasgow, who from Edinburgh is going to be there? And while you're at it, who from Cardiff? Anyone?
We've got the First Minister of Scotland, we've got the First Minister of Wales,
sorry, that
the
wasn't,
First Minister,
I do apologise.
Deputy First Minister from Northern Ireland.
Excuse me. And, sorry, excuse me. I'm interrupting because it's not the answer to the question. They represent the whole of the country. Here in England, we've got all of the regional mayors. Where are their counterparts from Glasgow and Edinburgh? They're not happy that they haven't been invited to the table. You would have thought, if you were thinking about this in a professional way, they should have been included, right? Or do you not care about the Scottish regions or the Welsh regions?
Well, they don't have regional mayors in Scotland. That is the point. The mayors who are here from England aren't council leaders. Council leaders from England haven't been invited. If I take my own region of the West Midlands, our elected mayor, Richard Parker, he's not the leader of Birmingham City Council. He's not the leader of Wolverhampton City Council. This is a structure of government that doesn't exist in Scotland. Now, it might be
that's true. So,
that
but I
they
think
want a debate about that. They can have a debate about that, and maybe they want to change that.
Well,
but they
there you go.
Done that so far.
That is, I think, Rob's thought that Sir Keir Starmer stood there and said, "We're ready to govern. We're sorted. We know we have to earn your trust. Let's do it." It's that thinking process that's shaken the confidence of the people that voted for you, because. Did it not occur to people in government that maybe it would have been a good idea to invite the equivalent?
Well, they don't have the equivalent. That's what I'm saying. They don't have elected mayors.
They don't have the same thing, but they have senior leaders in those regions.
It may be that they should. Maybe there should be a debate about that, because I think these elected mayors have been quite a powerful voice. I mean, when I think of Sadiq Khan or Andy Burnham or the other mayors around the country, they are a powerful voice. But in Scotland, so far, people have not chosen to have that structure. But if there's a debate about that and people want to think about doing that, obviously that's open to people if they want to do that. Maybe it'd be a good thing. It's not for me to decide. It'd be for people here in Scotland to decide that.
Pat McFadden, coming back to trust, one of the big losses in the last 100 days is trust in the integrity of your leader and your party. I think you accepted 2 tickets for you and your wife at Bruce Springsteen and the E Street concert band, £164 each, £328. Would you accept those tickets nowadays, and what do you think the rules should be moving forward?
Well, I've been a fan all my life, and I've been going to see Bruce Springsteen for about 40 years.
So why not buy a ticket like everybody else?
I often do.
They go on sale today for the next leg, actually. Are you going to buy
They go on sale today. They do go on sale today.
Are you going to buy it or make a phone call?
On that occasion, I accepted. It was declared all in the normal way. I haven't made any plans for next year for the tour, but I do tell you and your viewers that any 3 hours spent with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band is 3 hours spent in the promised land. It's the best live music experience.
Especially if you pay for the privilege of attending.
Oh, it's good to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.